The technique of Kumbhaka. Most of the pranayamic practices which are in vogue today come from the Hatha Yoga tradition and, therefore, incorporate the phase of internal retention of breath. In this state of internal retention, it becomes important to deal with the increased pressure inside the cavity of the chest and abdomen, and to maintain it for a long time without any adverse effects. For this purpose, the use of the bandhas become imperative. At the end of near maximum inhalation, the vocal cords are contracted and the gap between the vocal cords, known as glottis, is completely closed. This closes the air passage completely. Then, by expanding the chest further, even though it may be very slight, an effort is made as if one is breathing in further, across the closed glottis. By this, the air won't flow in, but the ribcage gets slightly elevated and the muscles of the abdominal wall, especially in the upper region just below the chest, become quite tense. This is known as the Uddiyana Bandha. This helps in the process, which is already going on, of counteracting the push felt from within, and by reducing the pressure inside the chest slightly, makes it also possible to maintain the phase of Kumbhaka for long time without any discomfort. Readers should note here that this technique of Uddiyana Bandha is not a simple contraction of the abdomen, but involves the process much similar to the one which one has to perform in the state of outer retention of the breath as a preparation for the Nauli Kriya. The contraction of the muscles of the pelvic diaphragm, the Mula Bandha, is not only maintained but is further intensified along with the contraction of the anterior abdominal wall during the phase of Kumbhaka. Simultaneously, by bending the neck forward, one presses the chin firmly against the upper end of the sternum, in the jugular notch. This is known as Jalandhar Bandha. Sometimes along with this forward bending of the neck, the tongue is also pressed against the root of the front upper teeth and the adjacent front part of the palate, the hard palate which forms the roof of the mouth, and this is known as Jiva Bandha. Please note that the technique of Jiva Bandha is slightly different here than when it is done as an independent practice alternating with Singhamudra, when the head is slightly raised up and the mouth is opened widely to make the frenulum at the base of the tongue stand out. The upward pull felt in the pelvic region due to Mula Bandha is accentuated by the upward and backward pressure from the anterior abdominal wall, which has tightened up due to Uddiyana Bandha. At the same time, the Jalandhara Bandha, Jiva Bandha, and the closure of the glottis add into this feeling. The already existing downward pressure due to the expansion of the chest and downward movement of the thoracic diaphragm combines with this new upward force generated by bandhas and give rise to a peculiar sensation in the upper abdomen just below the rib case. In the yogic literature, this is described as meeting and mixing of the prana and apna. When they interact, their combined force intensifies the activity of the pranic energy felt within the upper abdomen, and from there, one can feel it flowing all over the body space in the form of pleasant tingling feeling. During Kumbhaka phase, as one gradually masters the technical skill, one focuses more and more attention on these sensations. According to the tradition, the time for which the Kumbhaka phase is maintained should be double or 4 times that of Puraka, and as the practice grows, one can prolong it still further. But if without prior preparation, one tries to increase it forcefully, it can be very harmful. One must, therefore, remain always alert to the fact that at the end of full cycle of Puraka Kumbhaka Rechka, one should never feel any discomfort in the form of suffocation or feeling of shortness of breath. In the beginning, it is rather more advisable to keep the Kumbhaka only as long as Puraka, and only with great caution should one go on increasing its period.